Alright guys, welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're gonna be reviewing and going back to the Sony A7C Mark II. These cameras have been absolutely incredible. And speaking of which, and this is gonna be a little bit funny, I just bought another one. This is now my third Sony A7C II. I got a good offer, couldn't refuse it. It's such a banger camera, and I'm actually shooting on my third one over there. That's a silver and black one. But yeah, I've got three now. And I wanted to kind of review it because it has been about a year since I've had it. Okay, so currently I have four cameras. I've got three Sony A7C IIs and I've got the Sony FX3, which on its own is obviously an amazing camera. The reason I bought these and I sold my A7 IV is because of its size. Its size is fantastic. It's small, it's mobile. It's one of the reasons I went to the GM2s as well. It's just because it's so small and it packs a punch. Now these are downsampled from 7K. There's no bin skipping at all. These are pure 4K full frame up to 25p in 4K. The one big downside I've always had with these cameras is when you shoot 4K 50 or 60, there is that 1.5 crop, which I really don't like. If it wasn't for the crop, in my opinion, this is by far the nearest perfect hybrid camera that you can buy on the market. The autofocus is incredible. Sony has always been renowned for having one of the best, if not the best, autofocus, even above Canon and Nikon by a margin. They've got like the AI features on it now. I've recently updated to the version 2, which just improves the quality of the camera, and it's just added a few little things like the golden ratio and also an improvement on the LUTs, which I haven't really noticed in terms of the image quality, but apparently it just improves the LUT quality a little bit. But they're still updating. The last update was on the 4th, which is April 2025, and they're honestly been my go-to cameras. I still use these pretty much for all my events, weddings, you name it. Obviously, it has the one SD card slot, but in the close to 2 decades that I've been shooting, I've never had a card fail. Touch wood, never. And don't get me wrong, I don't like when people are like, oh, you don't use two SD card slots, you're not a professional. Man, I am. I still back up my footage. I still have like extra SD cards if I need to do a quick switch, whatever. You're still a professional. I don't believe that crap. Like, oh, it's not a professional camera. It doesn't have two SD card slots. Come on, man. And for corporate and commercials, I'm normally on the FX3, especially when we're in like a tight space and I need to shoot in the 4K 50. That's where it really shines, and especially having that 12,800 ISO if it's low light. I've got the 28-70 on at the moment, so shooting at f2 has been a lifesaver. It's an extra stop than the 2.8, and that's been really good. 3200 ISO as the second base and 800 as the first base. It's never let me down. I've used this for weddings, corporate. There's a great dog shoots that I do for Dog Friendly Co. This is the camera I've always used with the 28-70, the 50-1.4, the 35-1.4, and I've always gotten banger shots with it. It's an amazing camera. At the end of the day, it is a tool, and it does come down to the operator using it. But if you ask me, is this the best camera 2025, 2026 for a hybrid shooter, for someone who wants to start a YouTube channel, anything of the sort, I will definitely keep recommending the Sony A7C II as my go-to camera of the year. And I think it's still going to be super relevant and super good in the next few years. I would even go dead say. Doesn't matter what cameras come out, for the price that it's at 2800 brand new Australian, it is honestly a fantastic camera. I'd still pick this over the A7 IV. I'd even pick this over the A7S III, especially if you're a hybrid shooter. If you mainly do video, I'd still recommend it unless you need the 4K 50, where I would then recommend like the FX3 or the A7S III, only because the 1.5 times crop, especially on something like, let's say the 24-70, you're going to be getting the equivalent of like a 40 mil and, like a 110, 120. It's the 40 mil on the wide end that becomes too tight for me for like weddings and other events, where it's sort of like a deal breaker. Something like this, like the 16-35, you can kind of get away with it. You're getting sort of like a 27, 26 mil equivalent on the 16 end. But the thing is, if you're doing real estate or anything like that and you need to shoot in the 4K 50, this is where the Sony a7C might not be the best choice in my opinion. That's where I would have the the FX3 or the A7S III ready to go on the gimbal, because yeah, even with this like the 16 to 35 f2.8, you're still going to struggle once it crops in. So that's the only downside for me personally, is if you have to go on the 4K 50 and you want to get those slow-mos, this is probably not the camera for you. Unless you're happy with the equivalent of like a 40mm on the 24 end and like a 26mm on the 16 end. If you're in places that are like, outdoors, big architecture, this is honestly going to serve you perfect. Where you're going to struggle is going to be more interior architecture, interior vents, where there's smaller, tight spaces, you might need that extra space, and you need to shoot in 4K 50. That's when this camera might not be the way to go. But for everything else, in all honesty, this is a phenomenal camera. It's one of the reasons I picked up another one. I have ordered a cage for this as well. It's coming tomorrow. I don't know why it's so difficult to get cages for these in Sydney. Small Rig just stopped like supplying to Digidirect and everything like that. I normally recommend Leo Photo. Leo Photo are fantastic, but I got a Small Rig one for this just because I'm getting it overnight. But otherwise, yeah, honestly, phenomenal cameras, guys. Like, you can't go wrong with an A7C II. I would prefer this over the A7CR. The A7CR has a lower base ISO. The image quality is also terrible unless you're doing pure photography. That's when I would recommend that. But for a hybrid, you cannot go wrong with a Sony a7C Mark II. I'm looking forward to see if there is going to be a C3. And if there is, you can bet that I'm going to get one. Or two. Or maybe three. Maybe I'll just sell all my 7C2s and then, just go for the threes. Not that these are terrible cameras. I'm probably just playing. I digress. This is honestly a phenomenal camera. And if there was a 3 that had the 4K 50 at no crop, I'm telling you right now, guys, mark my words, I would sell all these and I would get it, because that's the only thing for me that's the downside on these cameras, is the 4K 50 crop. That is it. That's honestly it. Like, I love the form factor, everything else. I've never had an overheating issue with them. I've had these now for a year. I've shot over like 80 weddings with these. I've never, ever experienced overheating on these at all. The battery life is phenomenal. Everything is fantastic. And this right here, this is our power bank. And this power bank, powering this, I actually shot an event recently in Canberra, and I needed a body to run the whole time. Now, these battery lives are really good on these. They're about like 2 hours or so, hour 50 on 4K 25. I use this, and I honestly used about maybe 40 or 35 to 40% for a full day. There was like a 1 hour break, and this charged it the whole time on a USB-C. So this is fantastic. I'll do a review on this at some point, but this is better for me, in my opinion, than the V-Logs. But we'll come back to it on another video. But yeah, all in all, the only other downside for me personally, and you probably know where I'm going with this, is this. The micro HDMI. I absolutely can't stand it. I understand it's a small body and whatever, but it's the one thing I wish they had a full HDMI on it. Besides that, I can live with pretty much everything else. The viewfinder is great in my opinion. It's more than enough. I love the way it works. Everything is good. The buttons are simple. You got enough custom buttons. In terms of the grip isn't too bad. Like, my pinky kind of hangs out, but once you put like a cage, like this one has a cage, it's got more of a thicker grip. It actually feels solid. I can actually put my whole hand and it feels good. I don't have like massive hands, but it's plenty for me, especially with the grip adding like a couple of inches. It's more than enough. So all in all, I think it's a fantastic camera, and even after a year, I have no plans of selling it. Do I have some strifes with it when I'm shooting like 4K 50? Absolutely. But there's a lot of times I can get away with it, and I still would keep it just because it's such a fantastic camera. Hopefully they do fix it up in a new version if they do add one, but I do hope Sony listens and they keep the form factor, because this form factor and the size is absolutely amazing. You can get away with being like a tourist with this pretty much, honestly. It's such a good setup, but it's a professional setup. You've got good gear, you get good quality, and if you know how to light, honestly guys, you're going to be killing it. Like I said, this is pretty much shot on the Sony a7C II with a 28-70 f2. I've got it lit nicely with a big softbox, and we're killing it, guys. So yeah, but that's it for this video. After a year, do I recommend it? Absolutely. It's still rocking. It's still killing the market. And I'm still going to keep it for a long time. It's made me a lot of money, and it's a fantastic set if you know what you're doing. You just got to learn and understand lighting, framing, and how the camera works, and you're going to be sweet. As a hybrid camera and a hybrid shooter, this by far is the most near perfect camera for me. Love the FX3, but it just can't do photos like this. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, click that like button. It really does help the channel. And check out my review of the 28-70 if you haven't seen it. It's a great review. It's an amazing lens, my favorite lens. And as always, I will see you guys on the next one. Stay safe and be well.